Hello, this is Elizabeth Lopes with Motor Impairments and Therapy. This is for early childhood education purposes. First of all, we will start with one of the two parts of motor development. Gross motor is the use of large muscles in movement. For children without any motor impairments, this type of movement is used immediately upon birth and continues developing. After all, most of us are born with large muscles, so this is what it is used for. Examples of gross motor beginning at birth are waving arms, turning heads, and reaching. As you can tell, these are all large muscles that we use right away. Their gross motor skills continue to develop into examples such as throwing, running, and skipping. There are many ways for adults to facilitate this development positively. Activities for facilitating gross motor can begin with balls. Place balls in the environment in accessible areas. Roll and toss the ball to the child. Encourage the child to also roll and throw the ball. This can be done in any form of playing and games. Secondly, dancing. Play music and model moving to a rhythm. Praise and encourage any movement as dancing. Even though with young kids it may not look like dancing, any movement of the large muscles for fun is still developing that gross motor skill. Finally, obstacle courses. Create an obstacle course out of any tools and materials on hand. Make paths that involve jumping, running, crawling, and more. You can use any materials, whether they are store-bought or simply your couch cushions. On the other side of motor development, we have fine motor. It can be defined as the movement of small muscles to complete any task. The small muscles refer commonly to hands and fingers, but also include eyes, feet, toes, and all small muscles involved in speaking. Examples of fine motor movements are sucking, grasping, blinking, squinting, and writing. As you can tell, some of these most children do right away at birth, whereas others take more practice, such as writing. Just like gross motor, there are ways for adults to facilitate this fine motor development. Activities for facilitating fine motor begin with perhaps Play-Doh. Bring out Play-Doh and model rolling, pinching, and forming the dough. Let the child explore the texture and shaping process. This is fun for them without them knowing that they are developing fine motor skills. Pasta and bead jewelry. Supervised times, so that way there are no choking hazards, where various beads and pasta shapes can be stringed onto any thread or yarn. The picking up of the pasta and beads and stringing it both take fine motor movements. Lastly, there's drawing. An abundance of simple art materials can be used to pinch and grasp tools and practice a steady hand and writing skills. Like mentioned before, this takes practice, so it's something for them to learn through play so they aren't discouraged. Physical therapy. Some children are not born with the ability, like others, to use their muscles. Therefore, they need interventions. As many interventions for disabilities and delays as there are, for children dealing with motor impairments, physical therapy is most appropriate. The purpose of physical therapy is to enhance the development of functional skills. Through proper handling, positioning, teaching, and facilitating, children overcome delays and build the ability to take care of themselves. The role of the physical therapist. The therapist is the expert on motor development and assesses the individual child's current development status. It is the physical therapist's, also referred to as PT, responsibility to explain the child's specific condition and diagnosis to the family and members of the child's team. More than just explaining, the PT works with the child in multiple environments. This can be their home, a clinic, the classroom, anywhere the child might be able to learn, and learns what approach and strategies are appropriate. The PT then proceeds to share this and train the parents and other caregivers how to support the child's motor development. Physical therapy approaches. There are many approaches, but here we discuss two of them. Neurodevelopment Treatment Approach, also NDT, uses proper positioning, handling, and restricts the problematic reflex, and facilitates appropriate movement when working with children. This is commonly used for disabilities of neurodevelopment, such as cerebral palsy. Another physical therapy approach is sensory integration. It uses techniques that are directly connected to the child's sensory processing. This approach is used more often in disabilities with sensory process disorders, such as autism. Here are the references that I used to gain this information. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all have learned something important.